Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to a special bonus edition of The Monster's Den. In the co-captain's chair today, here's Mr. Chris Alo, the king himself. What's going on, my friend?
What's going on, Pete? What's going on, everybody?
By popular demand, because apparently everybody over the last week is talking about Halloween Ends. Made 40 something million dollars at the box office. It's supposed to be the last ever Halloween film, so they say.
We've heard that
Um,
before.
yeah, we've heard that before. Chris and I both went out of our way to go watch this film. I didn't see it in the theaters. I went and got Peacock for a month just so I could stream it and watch it here at home. And I watched it last night. Chris watched it last night as well. This is the 13th installment in the Halloween franchise, and actually the final in a trilogy that started with 2018's Halloween, 2021's Halloween Kills, and now Halloween Ends. Of course, all three of these films brought Jamie Lee Curtis back into the franchise once again. And apparently, this trio of films was supposed to be the direct continuation from Halloween 2.
No,
Or
no,
no,
no, no.
the
Halloween
fourth
1.
film, Halloween
No,
1.
no, no. Halloween 1. There are several branching timelines, but this new trilogy was a direct sequel to Halloween 1.
So Halloween 2 also never happened.
Correct. See, the previous Jamie Lee Curtis timeline, which was H2O and
Right.
Halloween Resurrection,
Those took off from that, right?
those took off from Halloween 2.
Right. Okay. Like it gets
So in that, Jamie Lee Curtis had a son, and then Halloween Ends trilogy, it's a daughter,
right.
but now Halloween 2 never took place. The main part of that is that Michael Myers is now not the secret brother to Laurie Strode.
Which was always ridiculous anyway.
Right.
Right. I
It
mean,
is kind of a ridiculous notion, but Halloween 2 is such a great movie.
oh, it totally is. Yeah, and what's weird is that is widely considered one of the classic Halloween films. That
Oh, yeah.
why would you just go and disregard
Yeah.
that entire film? It's just beyond me. But whatever. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's a whole nother.
so
And it
we're
is
not.
interesting, Pete, that you said it's the 13th Halloween movie, because if I'm not mistaken, there's currently, and put it in the comments if I'm wrong, unless I'm mistaken, there's currently only 12 Friday the 13th movies, I think.
Hmm.
So I think that's pretty interesting. And I don't know how many Hellraisers there are, and they don't count because they all suck in their direct to video, and it doesn't matter.
All right.
Although there is a new Hellraiser, that's a whole nother thing.
There is, and we'll be talking about that at a
Yeah.
later date too. All right, so I'm going to list them all off here. Okay, so Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, Halloween H2O, 20 years later, Halloween Resurrection, Halloween 2. Those are, I guess, the Rob Zombie films.
All right.
Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends. So
That's
that's
13. Although there's the bonus movie, which is the alternate version of Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, because there's the producer's cut and the theatrical cut, which are extremely different. I have them both on Blu-ray, and I'll be honest, they're both fucking terrible. They're both awful. Like if you cut the two of them together, maybe you'd make a decent movie, but they're both shit.
yeah, yeah.
Sorry, Halloween fans.
And it's interesting how because the Rob Zombie films, those were again
Oh,
reimaginings, and
yeah.
is it so hard to just keep some kind of continuity? Why are we constantly rebooting and reimagining and forgetting that a whole chunk of the franchise never happened? And let's just the continuation from first movie, second movie. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's absolutely
But
ridiculous.
I mean, look at what the comics have done, and all the other franchises have done it too. I mean, hell, look at Godzilla. Star Wars pretended that the 40 years of novels that were written are now no longer part of Star Wars
No,
continuity.
no.
Star Trek has multiple timelines, so yeah, they're all guilty.
So anyway, so back to this one. So
Yeah.
directed by David Gordon Green, written by Paul Brad Logan, Chris Bernier, Danny McBride, and David Gordon Green, and again starring Jamie Lee Curtis. You got Andy Matichak, Rohan Campbell, Will Patton. Will Patton. Guys in every freaking movie known to man. It's just like you can never get rid of him. Kyle Richards and James Jude Courtney. So this movie kind of starts fairly soon after the Halloween Kills film.
Well, it's 4 years later, if
four
I'm
years
not
later.
mistaken.
Yeah, and so now here, and spoiler alert, Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter dies in that film, right? But she's got a daughter,
Which I thought was interesting because at the end of Halloween Kills, which I thought sucked,
I thought
it was really gory. It's by far the goriest of the Halloween movies. But as a movie, to me, it kind of seemed like they had the guys that made this movie, the production team, they had one idea was let's bring back Jamie Lee Curtis and let's bring back Michael Myers, but let's make it a trilogy. But that was the only ideas they had. Right. So the second movie, Jamie Lee Curtis or Laurie Strode is in a coma, and Michael Myers just runs around killing people, and it's very gory, but it's a shit movie. Yeah. But when the daughter gets it, I didn't think, because it's left totally ambiguous, I thought she was alive. I figured she'd be like beat up, but in this next movie. So yeah, you're right, Pete. When this movie starts, you find out, oh, the daughter's dead. The granddaughter's still alive, but the daughter's dead.
Right. And then, of course, now in this third film, Laurie Strode and she's older, obviously. She's an older woman now, probably older than us, I guess, at this point.
Oh, God,
yeah. She now is trying to get back to life, some sort of normalcy in her life without her daughter. She's now living with her granddaughter, who's in her like early 20s, I guess, based on this.
That's what I would guess. Yeah.
Something like that. And she works at a doctor's office. But now, if you've watched the previous two films, the people in the town of Haddonfield kind of blame her for like bringing Michael Myers back to go kill all the people that he killed. So the first like half of the film, which is really slow, like the first hour of the film is just like
torture.
It's just whatever. And everywhere she goes, she sees people in town who are like, because of you, my daughter is dead, or my husband is in a wheelchair, all this kind of stuff. So she's like got all this guilt, right? Because she wanted to bring Michael back and get revenge on him. And it's just, that's like the whole first half of the film. And then they introduce this other kid, right, who in the beginning of the movie, they have this, and by the way, spoiler alerts here left and right if you haven't seen this film. This other kid who on Halloween night a few years beforehand was babysitting, a babysitting job that he had done quite often with this little kid. He knew the parents well. And at some point during the evening, the little kid wants to have all this fun, wants to watch scary movies. And he's, this kid is trying to keep the little child in line. It's like, no, we're going to do this. We're not going to do that. But the kid's got all these ideas and he wants to really fuck up his babysitter. So he goes and like locks him in a room upstairs, and the babysitter freaks out. And then he goes and kicks the door down to get out. The door hits the kid. The kid goes flying down like 3 flights of stairs, dead, just as the parents come home, right? So, of course, the parents...
The best part of the movie.
It is the best part of the movie. It's the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yep.
The parents come home. They blame, what did you do? What did you do? The cops show up, right? And, of course, I guess he gets off, right? It was an accident. But, of course, the parents will always blame him, and it really fucked the kid up. So now they go to present day, and, the kid's got all sorts of issues. He's now also in his 20s. And it's just, it's this whole subplot, right, of how they're creating this new character for this film who, as the movie goes on, starts to get more and more demented. He's getting picked on by people in the town, just kind of like Laurie Strode, right?
Now, to me, Pete, I don't know if you remember this, but we may have talked about this on our made-for-TV episode, but a made-for-TV movie that I remember vividly and rewatched for our made-for-TV episode was a 1970s movie called Bad Ronald.
Yes.
Now, Bad Ronald was a skinny, nerdy kid with dark hair and glasses who had no father and an overbearing mother, and he got picked on, and he accidentally goes and kills a young girl in his neighborhood. So to me, all they did was take Bad Ronald and shoehorn him into a Halloween movie.
Right.
But his relationship with Allison seems to eat up the lion's share of this movie.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I don't know if we want it goes nowhere other than eat up screen time. And to me, when I watched this movie and I completed it, I go, holy fuck, they did the same thing they did with Halloween Kills. They had no ideas other than we got to fill up 100 minutes of screen time, but the last 10, 15 minutes, that's got to be the final battle with Michael Myers and Laurie Strode. We got no other ideas, but we got to fill screen time. Yeah. And that, to me, that's what this movie is.
Yeah, and again, if you haven't seen this yet, we're going to give away some shit here. So you really don't even see Michael Myers till like an hour into the film.
He's barely in it. I mean, barely in it. Barely.
And he's living in a sewer pipe, right, basically.
Yes. Now we should say this, Pete. Right. Okay. So it's 4 years since the last movie ended. Everybody knows Michael Myers is still out there. So like he's like the Loch Ness monster in Haddonfield, but like people still talk about him, right? People blame Jamie Lee Curtis. Nobody knows where he is. He's literally living in the middle of town. He's got a fucking grass hut that looks like the hut that on Dagobah that Yoda lived in, but this one's made of straw, and it's covering the sewer cap. And he lives in the sewer, still wearing the fucking mask, still wearing the jumpsuit from the last movie.
But he's old.
Okay, he's older. And the last movie, the townspeople kicked the shit out of him.
Yep.
But he's still getting around. Like, okay, he's got like really good, Blue Cross Blue Shield or something. I don't know, because somebody must have fixed him up because they fucked him up, but he's still going. So I was like, seriously, like you guys with modern day technology, you guys can't catch him. Nobody's even looking for him though.
No, they're not even
not looking for him. They're still talking on the radio, the legend of Michael Myers, blah, blah,
blah. He's still killing people. He's
still killing people, but
people brings him in there, yeah.
Yeah, they're not looking for him. You would think they're like the Godzilla Task Force, the Godzilla self-defense. They would have done like the Michael Myers. Nah, nothing, just, whatever.
So this kid, right, he winds up meeting Laurie Strode's granddaughter. And of course, she is instantly crazy attracted to him. Why? We don't know. Because she's hot and she's a nurse or whatever she does at the doctor's office, whatever. And he's just a basket case, barely has any social skills, but yet she is all into him.
Somehow he is the fucking cat's meow. She cannot keep her dirty paws off him for some reason.
Not at all.
I don't know. It's not my type. I don't know if he's particularly good looking, but like he does nothing. He's got no job. He lives at home. He's got no social skills. Everybody knows he killed a child, but yet, man, she can't wait to fuck this guy.
Yeah. And then, these 4 kids that constantly drive around and harass him. Every 15 minutes, they're back in the scene again. And it's just like, I'm just waiting. Like, will someone please kill these 4 kids?
Yeah.
Their only presence in this movie is for you to hate them, right? But the more they harass this dude, the more crazy he gets. So of course, he happens to stumble upon the sewer pipe where Michael Myers is. Michael Myers pulls him in there, and all of a sudden they have this weird bond. Why? We don't know.
No, it's never said. I don't know. I don't know.
So as I'm watching this film, all right, so I'm thinking, all right, I know where this is going. Somehow this dude is going to keep getting crazier and crazier. And at the end of this film, they're going to kill off Michael Myers, and he's going to be the new shape behind the mask going forward for another trio of films.
Pete, 100%. As I'm watching it, I'm going, all right, this is going to be Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning. This guy, right, I absolutely thought it'd be the same thing. This guy's going to take over the killing. He's going to wear the Michael Myers mask and go forward, which, if that's what you wanted to do, wasting so much screen time with this Corey character and the Allison character would have made total sense. Right. Would have made total sense. But if we could say it, spoiler alert, he goes to Jamie Lee Curtis's house, gets in a fight with Jamie Lee Curtis. Then Michael Myers comes in and he stabs this Corey character, killing him.
Yeah.
So it's like, wait, so why did you waste all this time with this cat? Like I said, they had no idea what the fuck they were doing. They had no plan other than they had to fill time. Because why would you waste all that screen time? You could have just shown Michael Myers walking around town killing random people. and that would have been fine. It would have made more sense.
Because they didn't need this Corey character.
They didn't need him
He,
at
he
all.
resulted in nothing. You killed him off anyway.
Nothing. And at the
So
end of the
why build
movie,
him up for the entire movie? Because he was the focus point of the whole
he was the focus point of the movie. At the end of the movie, the Allison character was, Grandma, you're right. I shouldn't have. He was bad news.
You were gonna run away with him. They were planning on running away together, blowing
Crazy.
up the town, right? And it's like,
And to back up some, I actually think the biggest sin that this movie commits is before the Corey character goes to attack Laurie Strode, is the Corey character goes to the sewer pipe where Michael Myers, the unstoppable, unkillable shape. We've seen this guy kill how many fucking people in the last 40-something years?
shot, fall from buildings, get burned up, right?
Everything you could think of. The skinny kid beats up Michael Myers and steals the fucking rubber mask. To me, that's unforgivable. That's like, okay, let me beat up Darth Vader and take his cape and his mask, and like what? That was like, to me, that's the biggest sin this movie makes completely unforgivable.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, they rehash so much stuff from the first film. You know, like when Michael finally does get to the house and finishes off Corey, and then him and Laurie Strode battling it out for what seemed like an eternity in this house. And meanwhile, you know, he's throwing her all over the place, smashing her head into the wall. She's all of a sudden Supergirl, right? And she's coming back and giving it to him just as bad. But then, you know, she goes and hides in a closet, which looks exactly like the same closet she hid in the first film.
100%.
At one point, she's walking around trying to find a weapon. What does she find? The knitting thing, just like she did in the first film, hits him, you know, and it's just like, God, you're just reusing shit from the first movie over and over and over again.
And you know, to me, even too, it was such a stark contrast from the first Halloween Ends. And yeah, I guess you could say, oh, that's her character arc. But you know, Laurie Strode in the 2018 Halloween movie was basically the Terminator 2 version of Sarah Connor. She had fucking guns everywhere, booby traps, cameras. Her entire house was a trap. And now we get to this third movie in the trilogy. Now she's got glasses. She's wearing sweaters. We see her food shopping. We see her baking cakes and cookies.
She's got the little flirty thing with Will Patton's character.
Right. It's like, wait, what? Like, you had a fucking arsenal in the first movie, and now you've got one pistol that's in a safe, but you got to use knitting needles and a kitchen knife to kill or fight off Michael Myers when you know he's still out there, because that's all anybody's talking about, even though we barely see him.
Yeah.
I was like, what? This makes no sense.
And she knows how indestructible he is, right? She's got that one little gun.
That's it.
And a couple of knives.
Yeah.
And ironically, at the end, spoiler alert, when she does kill him, she basically slits his throat and then slits his wrist so he bleeds out.
Oh. And then
I think that he's been knifed and shot, and he could have bled out years ago. Like, why now all of a sudden? Well, because he's older. Now you can, that's the way to kill him.
And then to me, Pete, the part that is so, I actually laughed out loud. I was like, you got to be kidding me. So then the cops come and all these other townspeople show up, and yeah, Laurie Strode is there. And there is a little bit of dialogue. I don't even remember what they said, but long story short, they take the body of Michael Myers, they tie it to the roof of the cop car, they drive it to a construction site. Now, somehow, all these townspeople follow them. Where they came from, I don't know. They couldn't have heard anything on the radio because we see the DJ get killed at the local radio station earlier in the movie. So where all these people suddenly showed up, I don't know. But there's no dialogue. The crowd is totally silent. They take the Michael Myers body off the roof of the car. They lift him up like he's a Christ-like figure, and they throw the carcass in this giant apparatus. Looks like a giant meat grinder, but of course it's for grinding rock and stone, and it grinds up Michael Myers' body. And I laughed out loud. Like, this is the dumbest, most far-fetched fucking thing I have ever seen. You know, Jamie Laszlo said something about, you know, me and levels of reality and suspension of disbelief. And I'm like, okay, listen, I will give you everything you want with Michael Myers for this entire movie, this entire new trilogy. But I don't believe that the cops are coming and the fucking mayor and everybody else and all these town people, and they're going to take the body of this famous serial killer and they're going to throw it in a big grinder.
And let the town people take part in it.
And that's cool. Yeah, town people take part of it.
You're not going to take them to the morgue. You're not going to do all the things you're supposed to do. And when the entire state knows that you're looking for this dude, and you just
100%.
Fuck it. Let's just.
Yeah, it's like wait, 2022. We know how much paperwork these fucking cops would have to fill out that you were okay with throwing the carcass of a famed serial killer in a giant grinder. What? I mean,
this isn't like Bride of Frankenstein, right? Where you capture the monster and you walk the town people with their flames and their pitchforks walking through town. They
100%.
They bring. It's like, what are we talking about here?
It's the most. It could be, I think, the most ridiculous, far-fetched thing of the entire Halloween series. It's right up there with Busta Rhymes and Michael Myers having the worst karate fight ever in, I guess it was Halloween Resurrection. I think, from what I remember, just laughable, completely. Like, how did this get approved? Nobody was like, this is terrible.
Yeah. And I love when like stuff like this comes out, and I'm like reading like all sorts of people commenting on across social media, like on Facebook and whatnot. And there are people who are just basically saying everything we've been saying, but then there are people out there who are like, this was so much fun. I can't believe they're going to end this franchise. Oh, they could keep going. And I'm like, no, please stop.
Please, it's awful. And it's funny because people have brought up the fact that, people originally hated Halloween 3, just like people originally hated Friday the 13th Part 5 and Nightmare on Elm Street 2. And, it took 20 years for all of those movies to become beloved. And maybe in 20 years from now, this will be beloved. But it's like, you know what? It's been 20 years since Halloween Resurrection came out, the one with Busta Rhymes. And everybody still fucking hates that one.
Yeah.
So I don't think this one's going to fare much better.
No.
And it's amazing that it made 40 million, considering so many people, I'm sure, did watch it at home on Peacock.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is partly, it's great marketing, right? Because it's like, this is for people who love to see horror films, or even people who really aren't horror film fans. Oh, but another Halloween film is coming out during Halloween season. What are we going to do? We're going to go to the theaters and watch it, right?
Yeah.
Why not? Of course it's going to make money.
No doubt. And I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll say that Corey guy didn't actually die. They could always do that and bring him back. I mean, who knows?
Shot 3 times and stabbed in the neck and bled out, right?
But, listen, they killed Michael Myers before in H2O. Yep. Laurie Strode chopped his head off, and then they were like, oh, no, that really wasn't Michael Myers. That was the ambulance driver you chopped his head off. So he's still alive. So who knows? Anything is possible with this. I actually thought once they appeared to kill off the Corey character, I was like, okay, now we're going to get the final fight with Laurie and Michael Myers. I assumed they were going to go with a dark ending and maybe have Jamie Lee Curtis put on the mask at the very end. That's what I really thought the ending was going to be. That, because if you notice too, they did not play the famous John Carpenter theme until and John Carpenter did the score with his son and another composer, which I got to say, I love John Carpenter music. I didn't like the music in this movie at all. The one time I saw it, I thought it was very unmemorable. But I really thought the ending would be a dark ending, and that Jamie Lee Curtis or Laurie Strode would put the mask on and grab a knife, and that's when you hit in with the famous John Carpenter theme, and then fade to black.
Yeah.
Nope. Or maybe they would have done that with the granddaughter, which probably would have made more sense.
That's where I thought they were going. Yeah.
Because she's younger.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, Jamie Curtis is up there. How many? You're not going to get her back for any more of these.
No.
So that's why they
made her money. I heard they paid her pretty handsomely for this film.
Oh, no doubt. No, and listen, this movie this trilogy wouldn't have done shit if they didn't bring her back. You know, this is the Force Awakens
Yeah.
all over again, which is why all these old franchises are being dug up again, and they're bringing back the old casts.
Yep. Yep. Well, I think it's a turkey myself, but
Oh yeah, I mean,
whether it's worse or better than the first two in this series, I don't know. They're all pretty bad in my opinion.
Yeah, I actually I think they got worse as they went along.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and I did see Halloween 2018 twice in the theater. First time I thought I liked it, and then I saw it again, and I was like, oh, maybe I was kind of sleepy that first time because I didn't like it the second time. And yeah, Halloween Kills and now this, I've seen them both on Peacock, and I'm like, oof. At least Halloween Kills was really gory, and I like that they brought back in this one and Halloween Kills. I like that they brought back Kyle Richards, who played Lindsay in the 1978 original, and now she's his hot MILF from Housewives of Beverly Hills.
She looks great.
She looks great. Yep. So, and I was glad they didn't kill her off in either of the two movies, even though she's got like nothing to do in this.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But yeah.
Well, for those watching, if you've seen it, let us know what you think of this film. Yeah, as you can see, we're not really fans, but hey, this is what happens when you become fans of some of these horror franchises that just never seem to go away. You win some, you lose some. I'll be honest though, I haven't really enjoyed any of these Halloween films in a long, long time. I keep watching them, hoping that one of them will be like, yeah, that was really good. And I keep getting disappointed. But
I think the last one I liked was H2O, and that was 1998.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
A long time ago.
And even that's not perfect.
No, I haven't seen it in a long time, so it could have aged really poorly.
Yeah, I don't know. But he's an iconic character, and
which is why it's even such a crazy thing to think that there is so little of Michael Myers in this movie.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe Freddy Krueger can bring him back to life, and we can get that big crazy mashup between Michael Myers and Freddy and Jason.
No doubt. Listen,
Leatherface and Pinhead and whoever. Throw Chucky in there.
Put it in there.
Throw Ash in there. Let's just get the big monster.
I mean, listen. If Trick or Treat is which we just talked about the other day, that is the new kind of Halloween movie. Why not do a crossover? Michael Myers meets the little Sam from Trick or Treat.
Yeah, why not?
There's been stupider ideas.
There has been. Yep. So we'll see. So there you have it, everybody. Thanks for watching this special edition of The Monsters Den, airing on Monday night. We'll be back in our regular time slot of this Thursday. We've got the big epic show coming up for you. We're going to be ranking the Hammer Dracula films, most of them starring Christopher Lee as Dracula. There are a couple of them where he's not in, but we do have some sort of Dracula character in there. So that's coming up in our regular time slot on Thursday. And then we'll see you next week. We've got Secret Satan Challenge, Holiday Challenge is coming up next week. And then the next couple of weeks on the Monsters Den. Then Chris and myself and Craig Kaminsky are all going to the Exhumed 24-hour horror-thon this weekend, I should say. So in 2 weeks, we'll be giving you our kind of rundown of that, how that went, to talk about some of the films. And then we've got on the horizon as well, we've got Chris and myself will be joined by Dave LaGreca once again from Busted Open Radio. We're going to rank the Planet of the Apes films. So that's coming up in a couple of weeks as well. So we got lots going on here, including at some point, maybe in late November, early December, we're going to rank the Gamera films. So big giant monsters running, rampaging all over the place. One of them a giant turtle. So that'll be fun rewatching those again, man. There's a lot of films. So we got lots to come.
We better go because we got a lot of movies to watch.
We got a lot of movies to watch. So thanks for watching, everybody. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. All together, all the damn time. Hopefully we can squeeze in if we get I've seen it, but I'm waiting for Chris to watch it and a couple of the guys review that new Hellraiser film as well. Which
I'll try and watch that
now. So so we'll try and squeeze that in again over the next week or two if we can. So so stay tuned for that and more. For Chris Alo, I'm Pete Pardo. Good night, everybody, from the Monsters Den. See you Thursday night. Bye-bye.